whenever you find like the hard stuff come up, the tears come up, the doubt come up, the anxiety come up, you need to step in there and show up for your inner child. Almost said your middle child. You need to step in. Middle child needs it the most. Middle child needs it the most, probably got it the least. So they also need it. But you need to step in for your inner child. And you need to step right in there. And you need to show them and give them what they needed but never received. And how do you know what they needed and never received? Every time you are faced with a challenge, a trigger, a fear, a doubt, and anxiety, look at what the opposite of that is. Literally. So if it's fear, what do they need? Safety. If it's abandonment, what do they need? To be chosen. If it's rejection, what do they need to be doing? To be completely accepted. So you need to, in every one of those moments, give them that same thing. And literally, guys, that's what I used to do in every single moment for myself. And I still do it for whenever those fears and doubts come up, because that's what creates the safety and the love from within. But we're not going to dive too much into it.
How do you practically do that?
That's the point, is that we think practically to do it, you have to only do it in the conscious, like present moment of like, okay, how am I going to do it to myself? How do I choose myself instead of like, not like abandoning myself or something else? There are two ways you do it. You do it, one, by closing your eyes and visualizing the same. So any trigger that you have in a present moment is just a reflection of something from the past that's come out. We talked about how our emotions are chemical residues, right? So any feeling that you're having about something, like all the feelings you guys had in this moment, like in that previous session, was it because I abandoned you or I like shamed you or judged you or said you were less than? No. Then why were you crying? Because there was something from the past coming up for you in that moment. So whenever you feel the feelings coming up when somebody says something or does something, it's basically something from the past that's coming up. You take a second, you can pause away from what you're dealing with in the present. You close your eyes, put your hand on your heart. You slow down. When you slow down, you're slowly allowing your brain waves also to slow down. You visualize that past moment of where your inner child may have been rejected, where they weren't chosen, where they weren't loved. Even if you can't find a specific moment from your childhood, just the general energy of it. And you kneel down in front of them and hug them and you choose them. And you say to them, I love you, I will show up for you, I promise you, I will commit to you. I will do my best to always be there for you. And you do, and you give them what it is they really needed but didn't get. They got rejected, you hold them and you say, I will never, never, never not choose you. I'll always choose you, I'll always value you, you'll always be my number one. Whatever it is that they need, you give it to them in that moment. Then you notice what it looks like in the present moment is, where are the moments that I am unconsciously rejecting myself? I'm unconsciously abandoning myself. I'm unconsciously not even supporting myself because I'm seeking this from my father, from my partners, from everybody around me. You get better at finding it because you're getting better at looking at it and showing up for your inner child. And then you're like, you know what? These moments, I'm really going to show up for myself. A really good example for me, very short, was when I got like a really bad injury from football. And this was, I think, 2 or 3 months ago, and my fiance was an alien. At that point, I hurt my right knee and my left ankle. And the left ankle is feminine, it's all about stability and stuff. And it's also, for me, been a huge issue because I've been wanting nurturing and love from my mother. So when I got hurt, I came home to an empty house because my fiance was in England. And I was like, man, I need someone to take care of me because both my legs were fucked up. And I was like limping really badly. And so I said, you know what, instead of icing my own leg and soothing myself, the first natural thing I wanted to do was to call my fiance. And be like, fuck, I got hurt so bad, like this is what I'm going through, and then want some sympathy, some empathy, some love from her. We all think that's natural as human beings, right? But the dependency is not. It's not good. It's not healthy. So I tried calling her, and it was so amazing because my level of inner work broke that dependency on its own, even though my ego tried, because I tried calling her, and the Wi-Fi wasn't working wherever she was at, and she couldn't get through, and then she got through, and it was like breaking up, and I was getting even more fucking angry that she wasn't like responding to me properly, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then the call cut, and then 5 minutes later she called me, and then my hopes came up again, because my dependency was flying, and I was like, yes, I'm getting ready for her to soothe me, and in 2 minutes, again, her Wi-Fi got cut out because she was on the train, and she's like, I gotta go work, I can't really show up right now. And the first thing I felt, please silence your phones, the first thing I felt was a sense of like anger and frustration and disappointment. And then I realized, I was like, oh my God, the reason the Wi-Fi wasn't working out is because I had to learn to show up for myself. And as always, I was trying to go back to like the loving figure that I had in my life or a maternal figure that I had in my life to try and seek it. I was just going to reach out to my coach and say, hey, this happened to me, blah, 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 to try and earn love. And I realized I had to be the mother to my inner child in that moment. So I went, like a mother, I literally went and got the ice from the fridge. I sat down on the couch in front of him, like put on something on TV. And I didn't just put the ice on my knee and my ankle. I soothed myself. I soothed myself. I rubbed my knee. I said, don't worry, it's going to get a little better. Just rest. Put this cushion under you. And it sounds so weird because no one ever taught us to do this. You know, every animal knows how to self-soothe, and they have a nervous system tick that allows them to release. We're the only beings that don't. Our brain is so advanced that it's been advanced enough to create dependency, whereas for animals, they learn how to do it so easily on their own. And so we don't learn how to do that. No one's really taught us that. And so I had to learn to self-soothe. I rubbed my ankle, I soothed myself, and then I prepared a nice warm meal, and then I fed it to myself on the couch, and I felt so much calm, put a blanket, relaxed. And in 2 days, my injury had subsided. And it was amazing because I could see that that was just a reminder for me to learn to create my own love, which I had forgotten and which I had wanted to depend on again. So in any of these situations, it's so powerful for us to try and visualize. A good question is like, what do I want in that moment? We talked about wanting the support of a father. We talked about wanting the love of maybe a partner or a mother. We talked about wanting to be chosen and to feel safe. The answer is there. We have to learn to give it to ourselves. If you want another easier next step, you write down for yourself when you're sitting on your own time, okay, I found out from my inner child that what I want is safety, what I want is love, what I want is acceptance. What are the ways in my own life today I can give this to myself? The question is powerful of like, how do you practically give it to yourself? But when we ask ourselves a bigger question, have we ever sought and thought about how we can actually give those things to ourselves? Or have we thought more about how we can get them from others, right? So sometimes it's just really about sitting down, locking out time in our day, which we don't normally give ourselves, and saying, what are the ways I can soothe myself? Acceptance is what I found out my inner child needs. What are the ways I can give that to myself today? Are we giving ourselves safety if we're choosing a partner or we're choosing a boss or choosing a situation where someone abuses us, verbally, emotionally, physically? No, we're doing the opposite of it. Are we choosing our inner child when we try and attract or talk to a partner who's emotionally unavailable? No. We're putting ourselves in a place that we're ready to be rejected all over again. So we're rejecting ourselves and abandoning ourselves. Are we really choosing and loving our inner selves when we're putting ourselves in a position where maybe we are open to rejection, we're not ready to receive it as redirection, where our hearts are still soft? Which means, for example, diving straight into the dating pool when maybe we're not ready yet, right? We're too sensitive to that. Our inner child is still healing, and we're like, no, I want the attachment so fast, we dive straight back into it. Looking for love when love doesn't exist. That's a clear example of rejecting ourselves or abandoning ourselves. So there's so many ways if we actually sat down and thought for ourselves that we can actually show up with how our inner child needs it in the present moment. And simultaneously visualize it for our inner child and soothe them and love them.